People don't really like boundaries, do they? They like to create them for themselves, but they don't like to adhere to the ones that you create. Here's the thing about boundaries, though, and we don't talk about it very often. When we relax our boundaries, when new people come into our world, we think that the new people are going to be different from the old people, like from the people in our past. But unless you've managed to climb up the emotional filter frequency scale, you're in for a return trip to whatever crazy town you just left. So, several years ago, God brought some people into my life that I thought were going to become very important people in my life. I was so sure of myself that I completely and wholeheartedly dove into these relationships with every one of these people. But as it turns out, God was showing me again that I hadn't learned nearly as much as I thought I had, that I was arrogant, and that I had a ton of generational and personal trauma to deal with before I could even think of having anywhere near a mutually beneficial relationship. And despite learning a few things, right, which I had at that time, I was still a resident of Crazy Town. Because what I didn't fully understand back then was that the emotional frequency that I was vibrating at, which was in the lower half of the emotional filter frequency scale, that was telling God that, hey, I want more of the same here because I know what I'm doing. I was vibrating in pride, right? And so he said, okay, here you go. Here's some new people that are just like the people that you left behind in Crazy Town. But then when all of those relationships fell apart, it was clear to me that, oh, yeah, I was still living in Crazy Town. I hadn't left it. I hadn't even barely got to the outskirts. So then it was up to me to decide and figure out why I thought that I'd left it in the first place and to figure out how I fooled myself into thinking that I had. So I had to understand which mind files that I missed the first few times that I reviewed and reassessed the files in my fear cabinet. And I also learned that I had to gather a lot more information so that I could finally resolve those fear files and put them truly in the past where they belonged and move myself up, change my frequency output so that I wouldn't be, so that I could finally leave Crazy Town.